My name is Vicky Brady. I am from C5, and I have been a host since my son was 2 years old, and he is 22. He just graduated from college. I have been the coordinator for the district, and now I'm really happy to be I'm the Area 1 chair. So I really love this program. Those of you that have hosted know how much fun it is. Those of you that have been on the program know how amazing it is. And so I just wanted to give you a little bit the history of the program, the areas of MD4 exchange, a little bit about our outbound visits to foreign countries, what to know to sponsor a student. If a student comes up and asks your club to sponsor them, what you need to know. What about hosting? Being a host family for incoming students. It's an amazing experience. And finally, briefly touch on coordinator duties. Okay, so the history of the program, whoops, I have to go back. The program was actually started here in C5 with Sacramento Senator Joe Saito, and that is my home club. So I grew up here as a Lion, hearing about youth exchange ever since I started. Sacramento Senator Lions have always had a really big twinning program. Right now we have 3 clubs that we've twinned with, and it started out exchanging some of the kids and grandkids. And it started out as a pretty informal exchange, but it got picked up by LCI, and it's been sending many students around the world. LCI's mission for youth exchange is to experience other cultures in the hopes that it will bring about a better understanding of people and lead to more peaceful relations worldwide. We call our students our ambassadors of goodwill, and they don't have to come from Lions families, and they're picked not for their scholastic ability, but for their desire to learn about other cultures. So it's a very different kind of scholarship opportunity for kids. All it really requires is a level of maturity and curiosity about the world. These kids are some of the most amazing kids you'll ever meet. These are some of the areas that we exchange with. Each of the little yellow dots is a camp, a youth exchange camp that students can go to, and each of the little blue areas are homestay programs. These are Lions families that have gone through training and are willing to open their homes to kids on these programs.
To sit down there, or do you want the chair?
This is MD4. Most of you already, thank you. Most of you already know what MD4 looks like, but the way our coordinators and chairs are scheduled is by area. So area 1 is C1, C5, and A1. So that's me. Area 2 is Lion Dr. June. Area 3 is Lion Diane, and Area 4 is Lion Angelica. So we oversee these areas to train with the coordinators and to make sure that our students are safe and comfortable. In MD4, we are trading with 15 countries right now. So do you remember that map I showed you of the world? Some of those countries are not on this list, okay? The Lions Exchange Program is a one-to-one exchange. So ideally, if we send one kid to Germany, we'll get another kid from Germany to here. And of course, everybody in the world wants to come to MD4 because it's California. So we have a lot of applicants to come here, which is why we need a lot of host families. Right now, we have openings in these 15 countries: Austria, Belgium, Brazil, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Italy, Japan, Netherlands, Norway, Spain, Sweden, and Switzerland. And we just picked up another country, which was, did we get an application for another country? Slovenia. So this year we have Slovenia to add to the list. So it's a pretty extensive program. Now, if you have a kid in your area that wants to attend a camp in a country that's not on our list, we can get them there, okay? But we have to go through one of the districts that's one-on-one with that country. So if you have a kid, for instance, that wants to go to Canada, let's say, we have to find a district that has already made an arrangement with Canada. So we can do that. It's not a problem. However, your child that's going may need to fly to that district and do the trade with Canada so that they exchange rather than coming from here. Okay? So it's possible. The entire world is open up to these kids. Thank you. Okay, so the qualifications for kids to go. They need to be at least 15 and a half to go to Japan, and all of the countries 17. And the reason for that is we have a chaperone that will take all the kids to Japan together on one flight, so that they don't need to be able to read Japanese. But the kids that are going to all the other countries, there, as you saw, there's only 2 going out to each of those countries, so they have to travel by themselves. So we want to make sure that they're mature enough that they can make the flight and journey by themselves. Okay, they can't be over. They can't be 22, basically, although they can be 21 when they travel. For additional information, you can check our website, which is www.studenttrips.org. You can just go ahead and Google Lions International Youth Exchange, and that'll get you to the same website. They need to have a medical okay and a passport. We need to know what airline they're flying out of, what airport. The cost includes flight, the medical insurance, backpack, and t-shirt, although this year we're doing it a little different, so you'll have to check with the website. The applications are due February 28th, and each of the students needs to have a Lions Club sponsorship and attend orientation. Thank you. What you need to know to sponsor a student. Okay, so if a student comes to your club and says, we want to go on the youth exchange program, this is what you need to know. The sponsorship does not mean scholarship. So in other words, when a club sponsors a student, that doesn't mean that they pay for that student. You can, if you like, give that student a scholarship and to defray some of their expenses, or some clubs are even generous enough to pay for the entire thing, but you don't have to do that. What we're really looking for is someone to vouch for that student and say that they are responsible and mature enough to be able to travel for weeks at a time without their parents, okay? So in order to do that, your club needs to meet with the student and their family and spend at least 30 minutes with them. It's a good idea. We do ours at a board meeting. We invite the student and their family to come to a board meeting so people can ask them questions. And usually it's just talking to them. Find out why do they want to go on this trip. See if they're mature enough to handle the travel. And some of these kids may not be kids of Lions or grandkids of Lions, so we need to explain to them what exactly Lions are. So the key is maturity, respect, and adaptability. So you can just ask them, we're looking for students that are mature enough. Can you give me an example? Have you been away to camp? Some of the kids have been away to scout camp, or they've, spent summers with their grandparents. I mean, anything that can kind of demonstrate to you that they will be comfortable enough being far away from home. Ask if they can adapt to a new family with different rules. Ask if they're willing to go without Wi-Fi for 2 weeks. That's a big one. Then, if you accept this kid, then you can go ahead and approve them and forward on the application to the district coordinator. Ask the students to take pictures and keep a journal, okay? So that when they come back, they can do a club presentation and the rest of your club can see exactly what they did while they were on their youth exchange adventure. Okay, it's becoming a host family. Let's see, this year we're having 20 Japanese students, and actually they're coming in August, not July. If you're planning on becoming a host family, yay! It's one of the most fun experiences you'll ever have. You need to have an orientation. I beg your pardon?
Going south?
Yes. North and south. So we're having the Japanese actually are coming in August. I'm sorry, what?
No, they're not going north and then south. They're going one or the other. It's different this year.
Yes. So we'll be having Europeans in July and Japanese in August.
Going north and south.
No, they'll only be going one or the other this year. We're dividing them in half. So half the Europeans are going south and half are coming north in July, and half the Japanese are going south and half are going north in August. I'm sorry.
I've been doing this for 25 years.
Okay, great.
Lately they changed the rules.
Yes,
we changed
did. Yes, this year it's changed.
Populated me.
We will be changing it back next year. This year is kind of a regrouping year.
It's the test. I'm testing my nerves.
No, I don't mean to test your nerves. Not at all. So you're required to meet the student at the airport or make sure they're met at the airport. You should be aware of the hosting guidelines, which your district coordinator will explain to you. You need to know the 4 Ds. That's what I call them. The 4 Ds are the things that the students are not allowed to do. They're not allowed to drink, okay? They're not allowed to drive. That includes cars, airplanes, jet skis, and that has to do with our insurance. The 3rd D, no drugs, okay? They're not allowed to do drugs. I don't care if marijuana is legal in California, just say no. And the 4th one is dating. So we want to make sure that the kids have a wonderful time, but they're only going to be here for a short time, so let's try and keep things simple. Okay, get to know your student, take them to a Lions meeting, allow them a little bit of privacy every day, and try not to overschedule. That's one of the things that I like to do, is just so that they get a chance to be with their host family. Make sure you explain the rules of the house. They're coming from a different culture, and sometimes they just, don't know what you expect. If you expect them to put their dishes in the sink, please let them know. If you expect them to put their clothes in a hamper, please let them know. Some of the kids, it's hard to imagine, but some of them come from extremely wealthy families and they have maids, and they literally do not know that towels don't get picked up off the floor by themselves. Don't leave them alone for long periods of time. Look for community events and try to participate in youth exchange activities. And if you leave the area, let your district coordinator know. So that would be something like, for those of us who live in Northern California, going to Tahoe. If you're planning on going on a hike in Yosemite or a cave, make sure that your youth exchange coordinator knows, in case you get lost, that they know you're missing. Okay, so coordinator and chair duties. The district coordinator finds host families, organizes district events, requests funds for events from the district, and sends out information on youth opportunities. Then the MD4 chair holds orientations for hosting and outbound kids. We coordinate with overseas chairs for airlines and visits. We make sure that all the paperwork is complete. We coordinate it with the district coordinators. We make sure that each flight is met by a lion. So when the kids come off the airplane, we want to make sure that they don't just wander off by themselves. It's really important. We oversee visits for students, so in the unlikely case that the student and the host family have some kind of issue, the district coordinator and the area chair work together to try. Usually it's just a matter of maybe being homesick or a little bit of communication. Let's see, we also report to MD4, the Youth Exchange Committee. We report to the MD4 Council of Governors Youth Exchange Committee. And the duties of each year's chair, the first year deals with the incoming European and Brazilian students coming into the United States, coming into MD4. The second year coordinates the outbound students going to Europe and Brazil. The third year coordinates host families for incoming Japanese students, and the fourth year coordinates the outbound students going to Japan. And every year, it's a 4-year commitment, and every year we're looking for a new chair. So this year, Dr. June will be finishing up his 4-year commitment. So we are looking for someone in the northern area that's interested in volunteering for area chair. It's really, really rewarding, and the people are amazing. And that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vicky. We reserve
some ways to fundraise, because I know that's one of the problems why people don't want to host. They feel that there's too much money out of their pocket to entertain the kids being here for 2 weeks, and it's a great big expense for them. So in our district, we've started doing district fundraising, and we have, for example, on February 18th, we're doing a night at Outback. Outback Steakhouse is sponsoring the event. It costs $20, and of that, Youth Exchange gets $10 back. So the people that come and buy a ticket for this, they can get a steak, a salmon, a chicken, or no rules pasta, a side dish, a salad, and a drink for their $20, and for that, we get $10. So we've raised anywhere from $750 to $1,000 doing that, which helps defer the cost to go to Disneyland or something like that with the kids, because we're in Southern California. So that helps. We also offer fellowships. We ask for donations from the clubs, and in exchange we offer fellowships so that they can award someone in their club a fellowship. So that also helps defer some of the costs for us. And in that, I have several clubs that give donations and get fellowships. I have one club in particular, Orange County Central. They give us $1,000 every year because they love the program and they help, and so we get to be able to do things as a group with our kids. Another thing, when our kids are here, we do Thanksgiving dinner, because we teach them what Thanksgiving dinner is. We do Thanksgiving in July. We invite our entire district to come. We do some raffles and different things to raise money, and the kids get to learn about Thanksgiving. We, as a group, the host families, we do the side dishes. The committee, we get sponsorships to cover the cost of the turkey. And our governor comes and carves the turkey, so it brings the district into it, and the kids really love watching the turkey be carved. They're very fascinated by it because they've never seen such a, they call it a large chicken usually, and they're astounded how big it is. So, and they've not tasted a lot of the side dishes that we normally have for a traditional Thanksgiving dinner, so it intrigues them. But it's another way for us to earn money to offset some of the costs when we take the kids to do various activities. So, that's all.
Thank you, Lion Diane. Lion Diane's District 4L4 is one of the most active districts in the South.
Presentation that I'll show you guys, and it's on a timer, so I'm going to let it play. But before I do that, I just wanted to let you know exactly what is going to be shown. So I went on the Youth Exchange program as a student in 2011 and 2012, and it was the most rewarding experience I've ever had in my life. So I really like to advocate for this program. I want to encourage people to go on the program as well as to host students themselves. So since then, my parents and I think we've hosted 8 students that will also be in here. But there's just so many things that you can learn and experience during this, the 2 weeks, the month if you go over. But I hope that this presentation will be able to give you a little bit more of an insight of what it means to be a part of this program as a student or as a host family.
I need to fix the computer. It's not going to present. Fix now.
Is she just running this line? She should be copying. That's the music.
It's going to help me. Shironi, Riku, they're the same students that we hosted. See, that's Aya.
So as you can see, the program is so beneficial no matter how you choose to participate in it. And even if you decide that you can't, for some reason, be a host family, you can always participate just as being a lion within your families, within your districts. You can do club activities. When I went to Japan, every day that we were at camp was sponsored by a different Lions Club. So any of the activities that we did, we participated in it with the other Lions. We got to know other people. We got to experience things with them as part of their culture rather than just visitors, seeing them as tourists. We were really accepted as part of each of our families, and that is the purpose of this program, is to invite somebody into your family and to show them what we have to offer, not just as people, not just as Americans or other cultures, but as Lions and what we have to offer them with this program. I hope that you guys can also join in on and accept the challenge of being a part of this program.
Thank you, Lion Angelica. So the committee, I'm like Dr. Valera, I'm the general chair. I'm also the chair for Japan visit, and this is my last year. And Lion Vicky Brady is the chair for Japan House, and he will be the incoming general chair. She's from 4C5, and Diane Quinlan is the chair for Europe visit, and is from 4L4. Her term will be up to 2021, and Lion Angelica is the chair for Europe visit. Her term ends on the 2022, and she's from 4L6. And we have also representative license to the Youth Exchange Committee, to the Council of Governors. We have the governors in here. We have District Governor Ken Lockwood, 4L3. And we have First Vice Governor Norm McKenzie for L6, and we have Second Vice Governor Tyler Spencer for C1. Now, what is the current state of youth exchange program? So this is just we know where we are now. So this is only an example of so these are the innovations that we have done, and see 2017 2018, this is already rough because I don't have the data. There were 23 students, Japanese students hosted, and we separated because of some changes in the youth exchange program MD4. The Japanese were hosted in the north, and the European were hosted in the south. And this year, there will be Japanese students will be hosted in the north and south, as well as the European will be hosted in the north and south too. So there's a big change. So on the 23 students, there are only 1, 2, 3, 4 districts that participated. A1 is 4, C4 is 15. That's my home district, and C1, C5 is 1. Usually C5 are the top notchers, but that year they slow down, and C6 is 3. So, and there are 20 European students hosted in the south. I don't have the breakdown, and we sent students to Japan as well as we sent students in Europe. I don't have that data, but usually it's around 15 to 20. And one of my daughter went to Spain last year. Yes, we have the dates. So this is the 2017. So if you analyze this, there's only few districts that are participating in the youth exchange program. Basically, they're in multiple MD4. There are maybe around 6 to 8 districts. That means that around almost 50% are not participating. So that's the status of the youth exchange program, and we should do better because this is a good program. And we've been asking all the districts why, and there's always a question: the logistics, the resources. So the ideal youth exchange program is this, as they have discussed a while ago. The student is assigned to a host family, lion or non-lion. Host family communicates with the student prior to arrival. Host family is responsible for weeks, lodging, meals, transportation, and the host family coordinates. So the host family, for example, 2 weeks, they have to take care of the kids, youth exchange. They have to provide lodging, food, all activities. So if you are a lion or a host family, you have to take care of this. If you are working, then you have to take off. You have to file for a vacation just to take care of the student. So that is a big problem now. So even in my district, we cannot even host. We've been so busy for the last several years, but since it involves a lot of resources, we cannot host a single student. So we have to do something. We have to innovate. So that's the purpose of my talk. Now, that is the ideal family hosting. However, if I don't know if we have this guy on this right side, this is a lion. His name is Don Fleming, president of Daily City Host Lions Club. When he hosts these students, he takes care of everything. And he's been doing this for years. But we have only one Don Fleming. Any Don Fleming in here that he can provide? That's the only one. Can you please stand? Lie, Don. So we hope that we have Don Flemings in all our districts. So that is, we don't have. So now I have two terms that I'm going to share to you. Number one is shared responsibility. So the youth exchange program, since it involves a lot of resources, we have the 3 T's: time, talent, and treasure. That is understandable. So we have to share the responsibility of this time, talent, and treasure. So what we did is recruiting a host family. Time. People work during the day. People with irregular schedule. Talent. Some lions, they cannot ride. Some, they have physical inability. Some, no place to lodge. Some have financial issues. So what we do is, we ask all these lions what you can share to us, what you can provide. Can you provide your time? Some lions, they have 5 rooms. All they have is rooms. So they can provide the rooms to the students. Some have the time. They can just provide the activities to these students. Some have, they can just provide financial assistance. They can just provide a single activities. I'll show you what we did. So what we did in 4C4 is, we have 2 weeks youth exchange program. So we split the days. 1 week, 1 week. If there's a Don Fleming, yes, you can go to Don Fleming. But we have to split. How about if you can just do hosting for 7 days or 1 week? You split with other lion. You split with other club. So at least one person club host 1 week, one person host the other. So it's easier to get people to commit. At the same time, student gets more varied experience. Now, another is, if that is not feasible, we can split, divide lodging and activities. So if you have a house, but you cannot take care of them, you provide the lodging. And somebody will provide for the activities. Another lion will pick them up and drop them to their house, providing these activities. And in fact, these activities are you cannot do every day. Sometimes if you can only help them for 1 day or 2 days, then that's good, because that is a shared responsibilities. So this is example. One person provides lodging, another provides transportation, another provides activities, another provides dinner. So now it involves multiple clubs. This becomes a multi-clubs activity. So even on one youth exchange student, it can be held by 1 to 4 clubs. For example, this one, Lion Rufo Macareg and Lion President Bem Macareg, they are both presidents of San Francisco Fil-Am in San Francisco de Vizcaya. Lion Rufo is a contractor, and Lion Bem is a nurse, so they are very busy, so they just provide lodging to them. So somebody pick them up. We have Lion Bing Yamat, Dr. Bing Yamat, and Lion Aura Sailor. They're San Francisco Golden Gate Lions Club. Lion Bing has 6 rooms house, but he will stay there for only a few days. And Lion Aura, same club, volunteered herself to accompany these students, stayed with them, and that house becomes our headquarters, a meeting place, drop zone and pickup zone. And again, some of the members of their clubs go there and cook their meals. So it's a multiple activities. And this one is President Con Buckley. He's the San Francisco Host Lions Club. So when everybody went to different activities, then he invited their students to go to have a dinner with them, pizza dinner, something like that. So it's a one activity. Now, where's that gentleman sitting there? Lion Michael Chan, Silicon Valley Cyber Lions Club, president.
Right here.
This guy.
Yeah.
So this guy, he has already an activity for the whole day. He developed this activity. We call it the tech day. He brings these students to the YouTube, to the Google, Facebook, Apple, and goes to Monterey the whole day. So there's already allotted for him, and some lions act as a driver, because there's a lot of students. There are a lot of these are, I think, 18 Japanese students. And this is another Lion Scott Masters of San Carlos Lions. He works in Genentech. So he makes sure that there's one day, half day, that there's tour in Genentech. So students, Lions and Japanese students likes all this technology. And aside from that, there's another lion from another club, Alvin Chin from Millbrae, works in that, so they partner together. So there are different clubs partnering. And we have this gentleman, Lion Fernando Briosos of San Francisco ETA, he's the president. What he does is, he works in Asian Museum, so he get these tickets for the students. So, but however, we developed a program for 1 day already, headed by him. In the morning, second day of the tour, they go to the city hall, visit the mayor's office. Then they have a city tour, San Francisco's city hall tour. Then after that, they go to the Asian Museum, which they have a free ticket. Then they go to San Francisco Public Library, where one of our lion is a trustee, so they have this tour and volunteering. So that's already a 1 day within that area. So it involves around of four different Lions clubs for providing this 1 day of activity. So this is, I don't know what happened, but Lion Calvin Chin of Millbrae Lions, they have a big Lions activity where they have these car shows of 350 in San Mateo. So he invites all this youth exchange program and entertain them. And so another program that we have is, look at this. we involve these students with the Lions activities. One day, we bring them to the Lions Insight of California, which is hosted by Lion Dr. PID Bill Ayalaco, PDG Walter Griffin, and PDG Linda. So they have a half day of Lions Insight. They clean eyeglasses, they provide hamburgers. That's already half day. And the next day they go to, in the afternoon, they go to the Jelly Belly Jelly Belly factory for a tour. Then they go to Vacaville. That is already a 1 day of activity. And of course, it involves a lot of Lion drivers and chaperones too. So this is Lion Roger Cayabia. There's no picture, but all he does is he helps in driving. So he has a van, then he picks up students and drops them to the drop zone. We have a headquarters. And I don't have the program. Lion Alvin Louis of San Francisco Unified. What he does is he has a business. No, he donates like the Giants game. So we have tickets for this Giants game in San Francisco. So somebody will drive them, but we have a Giants game. At the same time, we have also Con Buckley, who has corporate ticket with this San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. So they have to tour this museum. So everybody pitch in. So now the next, that is the shared responsibility. Another concept that I would like to emphasize or to introduce is structured program. So there are only things that you want to know about my presentation. One is shared responsibility. Number two is a structured program. That is basically the innovation that we introduce. So what is a structured program? So problem, organization. Shared responsibility splits effort among many Lions. For the youth exchange chair, it is very difficult to keep track of who is where and taking care of what. The case of issue, the youth exchange chair must be available to take off. So that is the difficulty of the shared responsibility. It's very intricate, it's very complex, but it's very, very good if you know what you're doing. So a structured program is, we have a predetermined program. We have already the programs long before we start this youth exchange. We have already activity from day 1 to 14, including the people who will be the activities, who will be responsible for their activities, drivers, drop zones, food, etc. Everything is already there. And the activities is based on the feedback that we have through the years. So during our youth exchange, we ask them feedback. Which are the activities that they don't like, and which the activities that they like. So we drop all those activities that they don't like. And now we create also the logistics. For example, the day one, they go to City Hall, Asian Museum, then the public library, so because they're very proximity. So they like that. So we have this program already. So before student arrive, food schedule is determined, dates, time, activities, person responsible, contact information, budget, then intended backup, host family activities, always. So however, if the host family has a separate activity, then they have the priority. So that is only a structured program. So we have now a separate Don Fleming's activity, and we have the structured program. So it's a mix-up. So now, because it involves a lot of communication, so we develop a website. Well, courtesy of my son Leo Lion August, so we have this website. In fact, you can visit that, and it tells you all our activities. It tells you all the pictures throughout the years, what we have done. So we have this, for example, this is an example of how we communicate. There's already most of these Lions opens this, and they know, and they can give some comments. It tells you already what are the problems, what are the activities, what are the changes, something like that. So it's a dynamic, it's a fluid in nature, and it's updated from time to time. So again,